Let's make this happen.
Right.
Comments will appear. Yeah, we're here. We're live. We're at Civic. That's right, the flagship. See in the background, we got the legends up in the back there. Who we got up there? Riddick Bo, Big Daddy Bo. Of course, yeah. We not just boxing. We got some MMA up there too. We had you. L'Oreal's finest. We got De La Hoya Mosley. Got another De La Hoya. We got RJJ. Just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Floyd Jones Jr. You know it? Dangerous man. Oh, you're up here too?
Yeah, we're up here now.
Sweet. All right, we're up here.
Oh, look,
Hello.
PhD joined.
Oh, PhD, this is going to be a good one. Let me tell you, bro, today we're going to be talking about power punching. We're going to have Ice Scully on here, man. Oh, what? We're going to have, we have. Here he is. John, Iceman, Scully. How you doing, man?
I'm good. What's up, Sid? How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. I'm so excited, man. So excited.
Yes, sir.
Listen, it's not very often that I get to talk to people who grew up, like, in the pro game with me. Like, I mean, when I first turned pro, it was brought to Massachusetts, and that's where I kind of came to get to know you. You were just doing your thing, young and upcoming. Tell me a little bit about your journey through professional boxing. Like, what age did you turn pro, and then kind of where'd you get to? Because some of our people won't know.
Right. Well, I had a good amateur career first, which I highly recommend. And then I turned pro. I had just turned 21, right after the 1988 Olympic trials. And, I had a lot of fights. I had 49 pro fights. I would have had more, but, a whole bunch fell through over the last couple of years of my career. I think you were at my last fight. At the Hershey Center. At the Hershey Center. 2001, I fought Cleveland Nelson out of Detroit. And but during that time, I was training fighters. I was training amateurs the whole time. I had national champions and national level guys. So I was busy with it. And actually in 2000, I trained my first professional fighter, even though my career was still going. And so the transition was easy. Once my boxing career was over, I transitioned to a professional trainer easily.
So now you just tried to like I know a little bit about you, man. You just tried to gloss over the fact that you fought for a world title, my man.
Yep, I fought Henry Maske in Germany, 1996, which was, IBF light heavyweight title. I lost the decision. Fair. It was fair. He was a very good fighter. He was an Olympic gold medalist, and
that's like the Olympics, man.
Yeah, he won the Olympics. I mean, I was very, very aware of him, even back in the amateurs. And it's funny because I always used to say I would never want to fight that guy. He's so tall. He was 6'3", a southpaw, and he had that European style where he would hold his hands out very far. Yeah. And he controlled his distance so well. He was so disciplined. I actually fought Michael Nunn, and I had, even though Michael Nunn is a great, great fighter, Michael Nunn and I had a very close fight, a very good fight, because Michael had that American mentality of, okay, you want to fight a little bit? Okay, let's fight. Whereas Henry was, too smart, too disciplined, to give me that chance. So, but you learn, and that's boxing.
So now we're going to talk about Michael Nunn, because I studied Michael Nunn. Because as a southpaw, I studied all the fighters I could study that had a really clever style. And what I noticed with Michael Nunn is he would move to an angle and he would be punching over, he was not in front of you trying to hit you. He was over here hitting you, right?
Right.
Is that kind of correct?
He's very loose. He was so fluid and loose. And I remember seeing him fight as a pro for the first time. He fought Alex Raymond, who was a very good fighter. And let me just ask you this. Can you hear me okay? Because on my end, I hear like an echo.
Oh, it's an echo?
Yeah, on my end. But if you're okay, then okay.
No, I can hear that fine.
Okay, good. So, and I saw Michael Nunn fight Alex Ramos, 1986 on ESPN, and I was just amazed at how fluid and loose and elusive he was. I admired his style because, even though as a pro, I ended up being more, a lot of times, an aggressive fighter, and, I would come in behind the jab. When I was younger, I was a boxer. Like, I used to get on my toes. I was very elusive. And Michael Nunn was the prototype for that. So when we fought, luckily, he was the type of guy, like I said, the difference between him and Maskey is that he would fight. Michael had a lot of knockouts. He had a high knockout percentage. And so we had a good fight because he was willing to get into it. And I'm glad in hindsight, when he fought Alex, he was on the move the whole time. If I was, if I was a bigger puncher, because Alex was known as a puncher, so Michael moved and he didn't want to get touched by Alex, where I wasn't known as a puncher. So, Michael felt probably more comfortable trading with me. And that ended up making it a good fight because I was loving it. I was happy that he didn't run, and I don't mean that in a negative way when I say run, because running means boxing. You're boxing. Yeah, I've never seen anyone actually run. They box.
So now you talked about your style as an amateur and your style as a pro. Now I'm going to ask you, because every coach has different definitions and different levels. How many different styles of boxing do you say there are? Is there a mover? Is there an aggressor? Is there an aggressive count? What are the different styles that you consider when you say, okay?
I mean, there's so many different, and a lot of them are slightly different, like for example, you had Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier's he's coming forward, he's moving his head, he's trying to get inside. His goal is to get inside. You had a guy like Roy Jones who had two different styles. When he wanted to come forward and let go, when he was motivated, he was a destruction machine. But by the same token, when he wanted to box, he was untouchable. Now, you get a guy like Calvin Grove, who I saw box in person, just a phenomenally fluid, elusive guy. He could box 12 rounds and not get touched, at all, and hit you, 500 times. So I would say there's basically probably two basic styles. You either have Muhammad Ali or Joe Frazier, but then you have a bunch of other styles that branch off of those two. You know what I mean? So so everybody's a little bit different, but you can tell the similarities between people.
So I'm working you into a question here. So you're training a guy right now, Artur Beterbiev, 18-0, 18 knockouts, holds 4 titles. I think the only one he doesn't hold is the IBF.
No, WBA.
The WBA. Yep. That's the only one he doesn't hold currently. What is his style? What is his style? Because he had over 300 amateur fights, I believe. So I mean, this kid can box, obviously. What is his style?
Right. Well, that's the thing. A lot of people mistakenly think he's just a banger, like come forward banger, because of the knockout. And I say, you got to pay attention. Like, this guy is very smart, and I think he showed that in his last 2 fights. His technical skills are above average, A+. He's a guy, I would describe him as a big puncher, but he's not a face-first fighter. He's a guy. He keeps a distance. He looks like he's coming forward because he eventually always gets you, but he's taking his time. He's like, I'll give you an example. He's like a mongoose. A mongoose, it goes against the snake, and he eventually, kills the snake, but he doesn't rush in and attack the snake. He takes his time. He feints. He baits him in. He draws him in. So Artur is a killer, but he's an intelligent killer. He's a calculated killer for sure.
Now, there was a fighter whose nickname was the Mongoose, which we use as a trivia question. Do you remember the fighter's name who was the Mongoose?
Believe it or not, he was a friend of mine. I have 48 handwritten letters from him in a box upstairs in my bedroom. Archie Moore. Archie Moore. Yes, sir.
And,
Archie Moore, yeah, he was a legend. Yeah.
So I like what you said, though. So you basically have a boxer who can punch.
Right, right. He's a devastating puncher, but he sets it up because too many guys in history have been a puncher. So they said, "Oh, I'm just going to go out there and kill everybody," and that's how they themselves get knocked out because they put so much into the power that they open themselves up to the return, and they get obliterated. Artur is a very smart guy, and he'll take his time. But when it comes time to unleash, you see what happens. I mean, he lets it go. 100%.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm sure that's why guys like you and I, we love boxing. Like, I want a guy who can box. I mean, this is an art. It's a science. Right? And then, hey, if you happen to be able to punch, it sure makes your career a lot sweeter.
Right, for sure. See, that's the thing. Like me, I knocked some guys out, and I knocked some guys out bad, but I wasn't a puncher. I wasn't like, oh, if he hits you, it's like Julian Jackson. I wasn't that. So I had to develop some other stuff to complement that because, I generally couldn't get you out of there with one shot, so some people just don't have it.
Which makes you a good coach because you couldn't get somebody out there with one punch, you had to learn about distance, angles, feinting, defense, all these things, and that's what makes you a good coach. So, yeah, man, it's a good thing you weren't a one-punch knockout guy.
Yes, sir, for sure.
Here's the question of the day.
All right, let's go.
Am I going to learn how to knock someone out today?
Well,
that power, is this what we're learning today?
Yeah, so,
here's the thing. You will never be Julian Jackson. It's not going to happen. You will never be Julian Jackson. We can, I believe it's very natural that power you're born with. I've boxed with guys, literally, I've boxed with guys in the gym who never boxed in their lives. I boxed with them on their first day. And I said to myself, this guy hits harder than some of the professionals I've fought. But he doesn't know what he's doing. He has no idea. Now, I could show a person how to get better power through better balance, better technique, better form. A simple thing such as squeezing your glove, squeezing your fist right before you throw the punch. Make your fist hard, tight. That will increase your power. But people who say, "Oh, I want to punch like Julian Jackson," I say, "Well, you're going to have to be born again because if you can't do it now, you're never going to be able to."
I love it.
Well, put those gloves on. All right, Sonny's going to put those gloves on and we're going to put that one to the test right now about squeezing your glove. Yeah. Right? That's not something that I emphasize, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So let's see. Let's put that one to the test right now.
Think about this. You could hit a heavy bag, right? Hit the heavy bag with your hand 50% closed, tight, right? Then do it 75%. Then squeeze it 100% when you punch. And you will feel the difference. You'll feel it on the mitts. You'll feel it.
So, but what about, like, keeping it 60% and then at the point of impact, boom!
Well, that's what I mean. I don't mean all the time. I mean at the last second. You're only making a fist for 2 seconds. Because if you do it all the time, you're going to get tired. You're going to burn yourself. Right. I mean, like, I'll be completely relaxed. I'll tell you what, I remember when I learned that technique about squeezing your fist really tight. And I fought a guy at Foxwoods Casino, and I remember he got against the ropes. His back was to the ropes. and I'm trying to line them up, and my hand is completely loose, completely, relaxed. And then right before I threw it, I got low, and I squeezed my hand really tight, and I caught him just right, and one punch knockout, and it was amazing. Now some people don't have to do that, but if you want to, you definitely. I know this much: you hit harder with a tighter fist. That's a fact. I know that for sure.
We're gonna throw that. We're gonna throw it for two.
All right.
Let's see. All right. And so when you make contact, so this is all you're gonna focus on is when you throw it. Boom! When
It's
you
that
hit it.
last.
Oh!
It's that last.
All right.
Every time. Okay, I'm determined just to one day just light my grades.
Yeah, one about 85. It's not happening.
Yeah.
Today's the day. I'm gonna learn from one of the best right here, and then the other best.
All
And
right.
I'm doing good.
All right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. That's it. Yep. Rush it. Good. Yeah. That's it. One more. All right. So.
Feels different.
No, it does feel
It does feel
right?
different.
How about this? So you, as a fighter, right? You got to be able to. Not every fighter is going to be here at the end of your punch. Sometimes they're going to be here.
Right.
What are some of the keys to throwing an inside right hand? I mean, you just don't put it away because you're on the inside. You still got to be able to throw the right hand on the inside. What are some of the keys to throwing an inside right hand, short distance?
Well, the main thing with that is you've got to get lower. The closer you are, the lower you need to be, right? Like even I noticed when she was throwing her left hand, it looks good. But I would say decompress a little bit, maybe an inch more, and don't lean to the right at all. Like a lot of people do that. When they say they throw a right hand, they tend to lean a little bit to the left. And that takes power away. You have to stay. I use analogies to really explain things. Okay, I'm saying like a train. When you see a train that's going slow down the track and it's kind of rocking a little to the left, a little to the right, it can't go too far to the left because it'll tip over. It can't go too far to the right because it'll tip over. So it has to stay balanced. So when you get down low, you're not going to throw and lean. You're going to throw and twist the right side of your body. Like I call it like slamming the door shut. You're just going to twist the door, slamming the door shut. And if you're a righty, only the right side of your body is going to go forward. The rest of it's going to stay solid.
Listen, man, I got to tell you this, man. Like, I'm a coach now, right? So I don't get coached in boxing very much anymore. Man, listening to you with your American accent, giving the analogies, I'm like, yo, man, coach, put me in. I feel it. I'm like,
okay, I'm going to fight next to it. Let's do it. It's going to happen. Now we might get me in the ring.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
So, decompress.
So decompress.
Yeah.
Now tilt your head down a little bit. Put your chin down, like you're turning into the punch. Don't just make contact. Go through his mitt. Go right through it.
Go through the punch and like bury that chin. Like I think it's more. Oh!
There you go. Now we're talking. There you go. Twist. And one last thing. At the very last second, twist your wrist. I always say it's like, I don't know if girls do this, but boys, when they're kids, they snap towels at each other at the pool, right? Right. Now, the reason the towel hurts is because of the snap. And the harder the snap, the more it's going to hurt. So when you're equating that to punching, at the very last second, you're going to twist your wrist like you would snap a towel. The more you twist, the harder the punch will be.
So now, okay, so decompress. And bury the head, going through the target, and then give me that snap. Whoa.
There we go.
Oh, there you go. That was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, two more. Come on.
Yeah. I see the difference. I see the difference there.
Good, I like.
All right, you want to do the hook?
I don't know if I.
You're not really confident in your hook, are you?
I'm not confident in my hook. I am not. Okay, but let's become confident.
All right, we got to feel
Make me
that.
confident in my hook.
All right, so let me. All right, we'll throw like this first. So, yeah. How's that angle? All right, let me see that. Hey.
Wait, decompress.
Exactly, right? Like, I know he's going to go already, right? And he's going to be like, yo, punch through the target. Like, don't hit it. Like, come on, let's crush it. Come on. Yeah. Let's go in a second. All right. All right, what do we got?
Okay, I'll say this. You're throwing it from the position you're starting in, right? That's what you're doing. What I would recommend, like in other words, if you're boxing someone and their face is right in front of you, you couldn't really throw a hook at them from where you're standing. You'd have to use, I call it the matrix. You'd have to use your upper body, keep your legs in the same place, slide over, right? Slide, I say, lean to your, so you're a southpaw. Lean to your right. Let's see, southpaw, yeah. Lean to your right and look at their ear. You want to be able to see it. And then almost like that, like a matrix, like a swivel. You're going to lean over and snap into it. You'll get much more power by gliding over, still planted on the ground, but your upper body gliding over about 8 inches and snapping the hook from that point.
Okay, and then where are you aiming with the hook? Are we going to go for the chin? Are we going for
I like the ear generally.
Like the ear.
That's my general, right in front of the ear, because they're going to move their head. If you go for the chin, you have a better chance of missing than you would if you go for the ear. If you go for the ear, you're going to hit something. But if you go for the chin, and they slip back 2 inches, you're going to miss. So I'd rather hit something.
Okay.
Okay, so slow motion said.
All right,
I was going, no, I'm going to aim for the ear.
Now push off your back. There you go. Now push off your back toe and push forward and over. So get back in your stance. Get back in your stance. Now get in your stance. Now Sid, square up like a fighter. There you go. Now Sid squares up. Okay, now there you go. Lean over, right. Lean over, look at his ear, and snap the hook.
Whoa, that's better. Whoa. Huh. Punch through. Right through the target.
Snap it. Snap it like a towel.
There. Yes. 3 more. All right.
There you go. See, I like it because when you lean over, when you throw it from a standing position, I call it a runway. There's no runway, so it's just from a dead stop. But you lean over, now you give yourself a little runway. You give yourself a little head start, and you can run into it. You can increase the speed and the velocity and the power with 6 inches more to work with.
Nice, nice. What is your favorite punch? What is your favorite punch in boxing? What's your favorite punch?
Well, for me, the most important and actually the best that I'm able to teach is the jab. That's my best. Me personally, as a boxer, my favorite. I was a right-handed fighter, but I was ambidextrous. I could fight both ways. My best punch that I would hurt the most people with was a right hook to the body, a southpaw hook to the body. So I always got good leverage. So that was my favorite punch. But the best punch that I can teach and that I know is super important. And actually, in my last fight that you were at, my jab was really on its game that night. So I can say this: every fighter I've ever worked with, whether it's a good, bad experience, their jab is improved. I can confidently say that.
And so the jab, give me three different types of jabs, because I don't know how many there are. Right? There's different. Give me three different ones that we can work on as a fighter.
Right. Well, you know, you'd have your basic one where you're just standing right in front of the guy and you just snap out your left hand. That's the basic jab.
Right.
Now I have one where, you know, boxing has one where you can dip to your right and kind of like get under the opponent and look up at them and shoot it up on a 45-degree angle. Right. And then another one I would say is you kind of lean off to the side. It almost looks like you can't jab from there, but you go far enough where you still have balance. And it kind of freezes your opponent for a couple seconds just so you can drop it in, because they generally don't think you could do it from there.
Yeah. Because the jab, I mean, we're setting stuff up. These are all setups. You're not going to be able to jab most times, but it's just a good way to switch up the rhythm, the tempo, the angles, using that jab.
Well, I'll tell you this much: when I spar now, or when I fight, you know, whenever, the first thing I look for when I come out the first round, I box you, I don't know you, I've never seen you before. The first thing I'm looking for is your jab. If you have a good jab, then I know, okay, I'm dealing with something here. If you don't have a good jab, immediately I feel much more comfortable. Because if you don't have a good jab, you probably didn't take the time to perfect much else either. You know, so I'm looking for a good jab from the first moment.
All right. So here we're going to fight. All right.
This is where I die, guys.
All right. So here we are. All right. What would you coach her to do? Like, here I am. Come on. You never.
You know I'm
looking
getting
around.
it.
You know I'm trying. You don't look around you. Oh, wait. What you got?
Nothing. We're getting it.
You know, I'm throwing the right hand because I'm looking for it. You throw the right hand, you're getting counted. Boom! I'm going to count you. Don't do it.
No, I need to do it when I slip.
No. Boom!
I gotta prepare. Birthday beats are coming.
All right. Let's see that jab.
He beats me with a stick on my birthday.
I know.
All right, let's see that jab where you just drop in. So you're going to drop in a little bit that way. And you're going to shoot it up. You're going to shoot it. Do you step with this jab, or do you just drop right down?
I don't. I think, me personally, one of the biggest misconceptions that you hear day after day after day is step in with your jab, right? You only step in if you throw two jabs, right? Like Larry Holmes had the best jab ever. Winky Wright had a phenomenal jab. They didn't step in. They jabbed from where they were. And just like that towel, the towel has to snap its full length for it to hurt. If it doesn't go its full length, there'll be no power. It'll just be a towel. It'll be a piece of material. It won't feel like anything. So for your jab to be effective, you have, in other words, if your arm is 2 feet long, then you have to be 2 feet away from your opponent so that when you land the jab, it's at the very end. If you're too close or too far, you're not going to have a good jab. That's why some fights are boring to people, because the fighters are looking at each other and they're moving. People don't realize they're trying to find their range so that they can have a great jab to use. And if they don't have their range, they can't use the jab. It's just simple, you know, physics.
Okay. All right. Let's see that again. Run off the step.
Nope.
Oh, yeah, drop it. Yep. So,
Drop it?
boom, that way. Shoot the punch up.
Okay.
Yes, like that. What do you think of that?
Okay. Looking at it from this view, it appears to me that and a lot of people do this, you're jabbing while trying to get out of the way at the same time. Like you're not committing to the jab because right before you land it, you're already thinking about moving back a little bit. when you jab, you have to commit to the jab. You have to jab 100%. I always say this. The jab is what I call a confidence punch. You have to even have a look on your face like you're the best jabber on the planet Earth. You're the most vicious jabbing machine that's ever been created. Even if you're not, you have to pretend you are. So when you jab, you can't pull back and hold back. You have to have your chin down and push off your back toe so that you go through the target. It seems like you're trying to get away from the target right before you make contact with it. So you're taking away from your jab.
So I got to ask you, because for a guy who, I mean, one of the things that impressed me about you was your defense when you were fighting. And obviously it's good that you're still sparring young people today at this age. For a guy that has such a good defense, you seem very committed to punching. Like, punch through the target, into the target.
Right.
I
was defensive fighter. And I'll tell you this much. I wish I would. A lot of what I teach is because I made mistakes. I'm correcting my own mistakes through other people. So I'm telling people, like I say, in my last fight, in my last couple fights, my jab was really sharp, right? But my jab didn't become that sharp until towards the end of my career. It didn't dawn on me how to jab and how to really be effective with it until I was like 30. You know, I wish when I was younger, I had someone to tell me how to really jab. I had to figure it out for myself, and it wasn't until later on. So a lot of the stuff that I teach and things I'm saying now, they're not always things that I did. They're things that I should have done, and I wish I did. But I didn't learn until it was too late.
So would it be safe to say, commit to your, if you're going to throw a punch, commit to the punch, and then have your defense available to defend it?
Well, you see a guy like, you know, Donald Curry, Marlon Starling, Winky Wright. I mean, these guys had great jabs, but they also never got touched because their hands were always up, their defense. But as far as just the jab on its own, I'm a firm believer. I know this. You have to have confidence with the jab. You have to jab like you are the most vicious jabbing machine ever created. Jab. You go right through that opponent. And the key words are this. The key words are this. Straight, fast, and hard. Straight, fast, and hard. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Make this man's right.
It's been a weekend.
Right. Ready.
Okay, hold on.
Come on.
Chin down.
Come on. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. Good. Now give me that jab. Lean off a little bit. Bring it up.
Nope.
No. Bitch. Yeah. See it? He said you in the face, right? You gotta be like, yeah, I'm a machine.
My face is fucking angry. How can we really?
You don't want none of this.
Now, let me say one thing about that. It was good, but I think you're doing them too fast, so you're not able to set up. Like the first one is good, and the next 7 or 8 are pretty good. Like in other words, you're going too fast. You're not giving yourself a chance to set up your jab. You're not getting back into the position because you're so quick with it. So I would want you to jab, and it's not a long process. It's a 3/4 of a second maybe. Jab, set up, jab, set up, jab. So between each jab, take a second and just get yourself back on balance before you throw the next one. Because the way you're doing those 7 or 8 jabs, they ultimately are just arm punches. You're jabbing only with your arm and not with the rest of your body.
Because I throw myself off balance.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
Right. Regroup after every jab. And it sounds like a long process, but it's a second. It's 1 second.
And I use an analogy there too. I always say, when you hit somebody with a punch, let them marinate it for a little bit. Let them savor that.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Him again, right? Let them marinate it. Let's go.
Okay. Let's you can't smile at me.
No. Come on. Let's go. Yeah. Woo!
That's better.
Even the jazz became better. Just that little.
That's a lot better. 100%.
It's definitely, because it does. It gives you that split second to.
Right. You have to regroup. You have to regroup. Otherwise, you're like a sprinter who's running fast, but he's going so fast that he's not able to catch up to himself, and he's eventually just going to fall over. You know, you gotta keep your balance. You gotta keep resetting. And like I say, it only takes a split second to do. That was much better the second time.
It was. And listen, quick little plug here for coaching. And this is why coaching is so important, because, you know, I'll see fighters and they're like, well, they'll come in and be like, oh, I go, have you ever fought before? Like, well, no, but I learned on YouTube. And I'll watch them and be like, I don't know which ones you're watching, but right? And just little cues, little tips. And because you've watched 10,000 reps, you've performed 10,000 reps, you've watched 10,000 reps, you can pick things up like, oh, look, that. And that's why coaching is so important, because it doesn't take a lot for someone like John to look at you and just be like, okay, correct that, correct that.
Well,
now
that's
go
the thing, right? Like I could take Sid to my gym, and he could look at one of my guys, and he would pick something out in a minute that I didn't see, because I'm so used to that person, and I might not, you know, I might be nose blind to their weakness. So there's always something to adjust, something to fix. And you fixed your thing right there, and just in the last sequence, you did much better with the last one, for sure.
Well, thank you. I'm greatly appreciative of this, because, you know, you gotta grow yourself if you want to help others grow, and you can't ever be perfect. So
that's right. No.
So, we always take the time to just ask our guest. We ask one question. It's not going to be a regular question. It's going to be off the cuff. It's going to be a rapid shot question. And so my question to you is, it's going to be, who is the greatest rapper of all times? In your opinion, the greatest rapper of all times, in your opinion.
Okay. It's funny you mentioned that, because I've had discussions with people. And people tell me, oh, this guy, you know, the usual suspects. And I say this: the best rapper is whoever you think it is. Like if I say Eminem is the best and you say LL Cool J, well, I'm not going to think LL Cool J is just because you like him. Eminem is still, and I'm not saying Eminem is, I don't know much about rap, but I'm saying if I think Eminem is the best, well, he's the best in my mind. That's why we buy certain records. Some people buy opera, and I don't buy it. So to me, it's not that interesting. But there's other people who live and die based on the next album they can get of Pavarotti. So whoever the best rapper is, whoever you think it is.
There you go. So like you said, it's Biggie Smalls. All right.
top up there.
Hey,
up there.
Let me tell you what. Let me tell you something. I don't know if you know about this. I do know this. I'm actually friends with 2 underground rappers, and I don't know if you've heard of them, but these guys are phenomenal, and they would be mainstream superstars if they decided to go that route. But for other reasons, they don't do it. But look them up. There's Vinny Paz, who's a rapper. Vinny Paz is a phenomenon, and R.A. the Rugged Man. Phenomenal.
We
like they're
at Hopkins versus Kovalev.
Right, yeah. Yeah. No, they're especially me and R.A. I've been in 2 R.A. the Rugged Man videos. One for the People's Champ, which is the boxing themed video.
People's Champ.
You know that song?
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you watch the video, I'm his trainer in the corner. I'm the guy giving him instructions. And so those guys are awesome, but the majority of mainstream fans have never even heard of them.
It's true. All right.
Time for your question.
All right. Favorite movie of all time and why?
The Town. The Town, and because everybody needs a friend, like the greatest line in that movie, Ben Affleck said, basically, I need your help. We're going to go hurt some people. You can never ask me about it again. We can never talk about it again. And the guy thought about it. He said, whose car are we taking? That's everybody needs a friend like that.
I don't disagree. Well, and what is that moss? There's like there's a moss that grows and the peat.
Oh, really?
I can't think of it, but it decomposes bodies. You need a friend who knows where one of those marshes is. Too.
Right. Yeah.
Just so you know, I think you already know this. I'm that guy for you, man. If you ever need, listen, you call me. You just tell me where and when, and I'm there for you, bro. All right? Anytime, man.
Yes, sir.
Road trip.
Awesome.
So we can. Where's the board? You have the board?
I have the board.
You have the board?
I have the
All right,
board.
I have the board. What's next for you? What do you got coming up? What's going on?
Is it all backwards?
Is it reversed? It's probably reversed, isn't it? It's reversed.
It is.
Right backwards next time.
That's okay. We'll flip the camera. I bet you we did this. Watch this. Flip the camera. Flip the camera.
Oh, I'm so close to it. Where's the flip? Oh dear.
You'll find the flip.
I'll find it.
That means you know.
No, I won't find the flip.
Maybe you won't. Maybe you won't. Okay. That's okay.
Oh, we had a question too. What do you think of the current light heavies, especially the British guys, when we in the UK are worried for Yarde against, I'm going to say it wrong, Beterbiev. I always say it wrong.
No, that's good, yeah.
Always.
Well,
and that's what people thought.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to, as I understand it, we're going to fight Yarde in England later this year. You know, one thing, I mean, these guys are good, but Artur, with all honesty, if Artur fought you, a female, he would train and prepare the same way if he was fighting Roy Jones. Like, Artur is take no prisoners. His mentality is off the charts. So I look forward to going to England. I think it's going to be a great event, and I'm looking forward to him winning and hopefully fighting Bivol for the undisputed title.
Nice. And do you know when about that might happen? Like, when is this?
I believe they said October or November.
I might be in the UK for that.
I might be in the UK too. I might have to make. I might have to make that happen.
My aunt thinks that you're stunning, so she would be up for it. But it's just like, your boss is so handsome.
Well, you know, keep working. Keep working.
I'm sorry.
Ice, thank you so much for your time.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your tips. Thank you for all you do for the boxing industry. You know, and helping the fighters who've retired with funds and a lot of stuff people don't know unless they're in the boxing world. But the work that you do to help provide support for retired boxers to make sure that them and their families, you know, aren't like starving. I appreciate it, man. I know the boxing world appreciates you, and keep doing such great work, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you guys having me. It was a lot of fun, and I wish you luck. I wish you best of luck.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Talk to you guys. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Here we go. Yeah. Ice. Scully. All right. Wrapping it up.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for showing up today. Who would you like to see on next?
Yeah.
In 2 weeks. Who would you like us to reach out to? Let us know. Leave it in the comments. DM us. I don't know. Connect with us. We're here.